question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. What is going on? It is a Sunday. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter /X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 201 of The Throwdown, where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today we're doing something a little different. We are throwing down with a UK-based, wrestling-themed entertainment group, WrestleMosh UK. I'll let you guys kind of briefly introduce yourselves and sort of give us a synopsis of what you guys actually do.
Well, I'm Eddie.
Yeah, you'll take the lead.
We started this about 9 months ago, you know, coming off the resurgence of like wrestling club nights. And basically, we've done probably about, I don't know, between 5 and 10 so far. They've been really fun, and it's only getting bigger, you know.
Go on, Joe.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, it's basically that we came off the back end of a lot of the club nights that have been hosted around the UK. We thought we could add a little bit more value and entertainment wise in a live aspect rather than just a club aspect. So it's definitely one to come down and find out about yourself, especially if you come from the United States. Definitely want to come and check out.
And I'm Jeff, DJ Slick. Eddie and Joe brought me along for the ride, but I'm very much the third man here. I have prior wrestling DJ experience, happily part of WrestleMosh now. I've been lumbered with the golden generation of wrestling and new generation stuff, which is oldies, but honestly, my favorite era anyway, so I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all, or at least most, of the WrestleMosh social media accounts along with mine. So do us a favor, if you aren't following or subscribed, please take the time and go to each of the platforms and do so. You know, it definitely helps all of us. And if you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle them as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So this is a question kind of for each of you, and that is, you know, how long have you been fans of wrestling? Has it been a lifelong thing, or has it been later in life? How has that gone?
Well, for myself, it was WrestleMania 7 that I seen as a nearly 4-year-old. No, nearly 5. I was born in 86. So yeah, no, I seen that and I was like, man, this is larger than life. I remember The Undertaker. He scared the hell out of me before. Hulk Hogan was my hero. Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, Bushwhackers, Legion of Doom, you know, and it was the themes that they came out to was part of the aura and experience. I think I carried on. It's a great time to be a fan at that point because it was all like the little Hasbro figures and the VHS tapes and stuff. Like, It was shown in England on maybe Superstars and the pay-per-views, but there wasn't much sort of more than that. So we get hold of the tapes and stuff, and that was £15 back then. So per one sort of thing. I dipped at like New Generation era, came back in Attitude era about '98, and that was like a resurgence. It was like bigger than ever. I was turning like a teenager at that point, so it was really in keeping with the vibe at the time, and South Park and stuff. And then I carried on to about 2008, 9, and I kind of dipped again. I'd say, like the sort of like PG era, it just kind of didn't. I don't know, just wasn't really doing it for me as much. So I've been in and out type thing ever since. And that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, go on, Joe.
Okay, cheers, mate. For me, I'd say I'm a little bit after Eddie. I would say mine came in around WrestleMania 13 onwards. And actually, to make a point of what Eddie said as well about it not being very available in the UK back then, I was quite deprived of it. So every time I did get to see it, it was around my mate's house on a Saturday morning, and that was watching Sky TV on SmackDown. So it was around probably the WrestleMania 16, maybe I want to say, when I properly weekly watched it and was able to follow and continue with the stories and whatever. And again, the same with Eddie. I kind of dropped off around the PG era because I felt like it wasn't my cup of tea anymore, as we say in England. It just became a little bit kiddie-ish and not what I was used to, especially when you're coming around the teenage years. So you're kind of looking for that more adult content. And when it went in a different direction, it just left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And then I picked it back up around COVID, I think out of boredom. And I haven't stopped watching it since, mainly because I don't really watch TV, but that is the only TV show I do watch now.
Yeah, for me, similar to you, Joe, it was February 2000. I picked it up. It was back when some bloke called Mick Foley was about to be retired by Triple H, and I was very upset because I thought I'd never see this bloke ever again that I'd known for 4 weeks. So I was mad into it. I actually realised it was around I had Sky for years, and I clocked why did I not get into wrestling until start of 2000? And it only hit me a few days ago. It's the same time that Gladiators got cancelled in the UK. So clearly I had a void for these larger than life people, these characters. And I was heartbroken when that was cancelled, and I stumbled across wrestling. But again, similar, I dropped off around the PG era. So again, I just started I went backwards. So I started watching the stuff from the golden generation up until when I started watching it. So late 99. And that stuff's brilliant, especially the music, which is why I started picking up any theme I could find. There's stuff in my collection that dates back to I can pinpoint ones I got from Kazaa back in the day, for example. So yeah, 2000 to me is still the best year that WWE's ever done. I would always be biased.
Gotcha. So, how did the idea to basically start offering a sort of a wrestling themed experience to nightclubs and parties come about? And how have the three of you leveraged your individual backgrounds to kind of come together to really make this thing happen and be something special?
I would say, well, it was quite new to the industry, the whole wrestling club night thing. So Jeff had done one prior for another company, which I went along to in London. And this was only a year and a half ago, I think it was September.
And I can remember.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember you telling you about it, and I was like, have you seen what this is? He was like, well, yeah, I'd have some of that. And then Joey took over the show, but we'll go on to that later, right? He took over it. Right, he was like the star of the show. But yeah, no, honestly, I've had a big background in the music industry and tribute band scene. So not only am I in a band, but also facilitated shows and events and stuff. So I thought there's a market there to take it into sort of town venues where there's smaller venues than these big city ones. And basically, these companies were doing it like as part of a tour. So probably like run 2 or 3 cities, maybe where WWE's in town, something like that. But this is more of like an ongoing thing, and then in doing so, that keeps the name out there constantly. So yeah, but we've gone from sort of like bars to sort of larger venues now. So yeah, so the capacities are getting bigger, and so the venues. So we should be known as the one maybe in time to come, you know. But I think we've hit it at exactly the right time. What with more decades of great music behind us, and very much the WWE now, particularly, they're singing along the themes. I mean, even say something like Randy Orton's theme, that second theme has been around for probably 15 years plus now. But they're singing the song now more than they ever did. So they've loved that tune all of a sudden more than ever. Same goes for Edge, and there's so many. So I think it's just a lot of love in it. And then you see the UK market of like club nights and stuff being a bit more niched. So it's like not only is it like rock nights, dance nights, it's more, you know, it's like new metal nights, and there's one's dedicated to bad music and ballads and stuff. You know, it's a bit strange. People are wanting new stuff, you know. So yeah, wrestling, and as discussed earlier, I mean it goes hand in hand with metal music, and something like Download could have cosplayers of wrestling like in droves, you know. So interweaves of the metal industry massively. So there is definitely a home for it. Yeah, that's my.
I mean, my background was in metal DJing anyway, so it just sort of lends itself nicely to wrestling DJing. I was out of the scene for about 10 years. This wrestling night came along, and I thought, you know what, why not? Like, that's always been my guilty pleasure, was my love of wrestling themes. So I just, I took it with me, and just, I mean, it's all about, it's like DJing any sort of music. It's about reading the crowd and to give you an idea of what to play next, which is a bit more of a challenge with wrestling music, because you can't. Sometimes you don't play songs that sound alike. It's songs from the same era that, you know, oh, if someone hears Lita's theme, for example, do you know what might come good after that? Well, China would work. Who's after that? Eddie, they were together. So I think I lend that to it quite a bit. But even so, I was surprised. The reaction from the crowd was just so immense. Especially just the tunes that I play from the 80s. You have men in their like 50s jumping on each other just because I'd unearthed this old gem of a memory that they forgot they had, and it's that's really why I do it. And actually, that makes it far more rewarding than playing rock music, because it's a night that, and a premise that a lot of us dreamed of it would exist, but we never actually thought it would. So it's a beautiful thing.
And what is different about this one is that I think because it's on a smaller scale than the initial ones, where it might be a capacity of up to 100 or more, is that, and because they're in smaller towns, what we're finding is that British wrestling companies are getting involved. So like as soon as an event's on sale, we're getting British wrestlers like message us within minutes, and that's actually happened, you know. Yeah, I said to Joey like the other month, it's like we're probably like the ECW of club nights, because it will probably kick off at the venues, you know, and it has. We've had like bar brawls and stuff. I mean, yeah, we've got a bit involved, you know. We're trying to protect the night, sort of thing, and we've had to get involved, you know. And man, even Joey's been in the ring and doing a rumble. We entered into a rumble, so a lot's happening quickly. But I like the fact personally that it not only celebrates the American side of things over decades, but it also enhances the British wrestling scene as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a win-win across, really. I think that's particular to us as well, because other club nights wouldn't have that sort of thing going on, I would say.
No, we definitely are the only one that does that.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. And long may it continue.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Jeff. You were mentioning, you know, the whole concept and art of reading the room, and you know, that's something that, you know, on this show I've had a lot of young wrestlers that are kind of just getting started and such, And and we've talked a lot about the art of taking the time when you're in the ring in the middle of a match and kind of reading the room. And a great example of that was the Mania match with Hogan and Rock. They read the room, saw the way the crowd was receiving the match, and decided on the fly to do the double turn to basically give the crowd what they wanted. And I mean, that's brilliant. Just taking the time to do that and be able to be self-aware enough to understand that the tide is turning whether you want it to or not. So you might as well kind of go with what's going to make money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not that I'd compare myself to a pro wrestler in terms of their athleticism and what they subject their bodies to, but wrestling and DJing is similar in that you go into it with an idea of what you want to play or what you think will work, but you have to be able to just pivot at any moment if it isn't working. And also, like, different towns give different expectations as well. I mean, we have a date in Norwich, which I think could be much more receptive to the newer stuff because it's a student town, whereas other places will gear more towards the old school.
Right. So away from all of this, what are individually, what are some of your hobbies and interests? What do you like to do in your spare time, as little of that as there may be?
Joey, you start.
Well,
Yeah.
so there's many stories to tell with this. I've been playing music since I was probably 13, and now I'm 36, pushing 37. I actually met Eddie through musical friends of ours. He is in a tribute band, and he needed a drummer just for the night. And he made it apparent to me afterwards that I actually saved that gig because I stepped in as a temporary drummer for him. So we met through music. I still play music now in his band if he needs a drummer now and again, and my own originals band. Outside of that, it is purely just music and wrestling. Just that is what I love to death with all my heart and soul.
And the funny thing is that show that I met Joey at for the first time, he basically made the show happen because we needed a drummer, and it was an important gig, a big gig. We were willing to try someone who was like a mutual friend sort of thing. And he turned up as pretty much just like Cactus Jack on the night. He was dressed in what the leopard print leotard and like a literal Cactus Jack cut off vest. I didn't know he was a wrestling fan till near enough we were on stage. I was like, wow, this is good. This is good.
Yeah, I actually remember you saying that to me. I didn't even put two and two together. I just always wear wrestling stuff when I'm out in hopes that I'd see somebody and they point it out, because I always do the same for strangers when I see it, like an NWO top or an old Austin top, anything. It's nice to see wrestling fans acknowledge each other.
So Eddie, it's been mentioned that you are part of a tribute band. Is this a tribute to a band in particular or to an era of music? What type of band is this?
It's a tribute band to a big British band, but worldwide loved band called The Prodigy.
Oh, okay,
It's a band called Flint Fire, and I do sort of like the key Flint in the band for that, and I've done it for 20 years. Since I was 18, so that is a lot of fun. Lively as you can imagine, and what a release that is. I think a lot by doing that side has made this sort of thing just happen easier because I had all the contacts, and it's just a confidence, I guess. Once you do one thing great, you not to say I'm the best I could do it, but it's great fun. I apply myself, and it's it's made this kind of work in a way, just have a go, innit? If you love, but you're expressing your love for something that's popular out there, and people can see that, they want to come along and share that with you. So we're like a fan like everyone else out there, and it's exactly the same as this.
It's almost like real wrestling, isn't it? It's like if the audience know it's authentic, they gravitate towards it more.
Yeah, Yeah.
And they feel
Right.
that through tribute acts, don't they? Like when we play together, it's immense.
Right, right. Well, I was asking about that because a very good friend of mine is actually the bass player in a tribute band for the band Journey. And they've been doing this for about 15 or 16 years, and they're considered one of the best Journey tribute acts in the United States. And I mean, they're based here in Atlanta, but they've played as far away as Maine and I think out in California. So I mean, you know, they play shows all over the country. And they've really studied, you know, performance footage of Journey in their prime and really try to replicate that, and that they actually do a bang up job. Their singer, if you close your eyes, you would think you're listening to Steve Perry. I mean, the guy is just phenomenal. So
Yeah, you don't throw yourself fully at it. You know, if you're half-assed with it, then
it's a boom period for tribute bands, I think, as well, just because the gig economy for the actual real versions of the bands is so ridiculous now.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
People still want to hear that music in a live setting, so there you go. It's
I prefer smaller shows anyway. Like if I'm going to see a band, I'd rather a smaller venue than an arena show because it's just too much. Like everything's too much money, and it's just everyone's zipping about in front of you, and it's hard to get places. I don't know. I've experienced enough of them for so many years, even to attend as a fan and stuff. And I prefer a smaller venue, like much like the ones we play now, the sort of mid-sized, few hundred capacity type venue. I'd say.
Yeah, but don't rule out Wembley Stadium for WrestleMosh, though, Eddie. Come on, man.
Oh no, it's coming. Yeah.
So, looking over at the Instagram chat, we've actually got a few people making their way in. Actually, a previous guest on the Throwdown, another guy from the UK, Big Deal Dante, is hanging out with us. He was actually a really good guest, and he's got he's definitely developing quite the following on your side of the pond. So
we'll look out for him. He might be scrapping in the crowd at one of our shows.
He might be. He might be. So, we're mostly a wrestling-related show, but we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So, by any chance, are you guys either watching or listening to anything really cool right now?
Past or present?
Past or present, you said?
Yeah, past or present, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, as in the past, or is
no?
It
sorry, like past, present, or
Hold
future.
on,
no. No. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever you're listening to right now, it doesn't have to be current. It can be past. Whatever.
Well, talking about tribute acts, since joining Eddie with his, I've been going to a lot more of these. I actually never went to any before, and I started going to more of them. And I've found somewhere deep in myself that apparently I love grunge all along. So I'm going to a few grunge nights. So anything Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, and stuff like that, all the old stuff, I'm finding is a lot better than today's stuff, which it's used in a lot of pop culture stuff, which I found out. I was looking at movie soundtracks and stuff like that. So I got recommendation wise, anything grunge, anything back in the 80s and 90s. Listening
Gotcha.
wise, anyway.
Oh, I mean, do I say that I started listening to the Midnight, which is like a modern techno band, but the whole gimmick is they go back to the songs sound like stuff out of the 80s. I just shuffled into them one day while I was working on my Spotify, and I can't get enough of them. But I'm thinking that is such classic me. Like all I play is old stuff from the 80s, and what am I into? Like the new artists I'm into are playing stuff resembling old stuff from the 80s. But mainly my taste is the same as Joey. Just it's grunge. It was Alice. I mean, I listened to a lot of the same stuff that I got into back when I was at university, like 15 or so years ago. So yeah, Alice in Chains, Pantera, Pearl Jam, old school Metallica, like 3 Black Album.
Oh yeah.
I just have that on shuffle almost all the time, really.
Yeah, I think the old stuff resonates somewhere, doesn't it, deep within inside you? And you just can't quite explain it.
But then new metal is classic now as well, and I really enjoy that, because when I was first getting into that sort of music, that was everywhere, well, across wrestling and Kerrang, Scuzz, all that sort of stuff. Just at one point, everything I was watching had Limp Bizkit in it.
Yeah,
It was all over TV, all over mainstream charts. It was WWE's favorite band for from 01 to 03 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still just takes me straight back to those days when I first picked it up, wrestling.
Gotcha. So, another question for each of you. You've been fans of wrestling long enough that I'm sure you've developed some of these, but what is your biggest wrestling-related pet peeve?
No selling. I've loads. As soon as I've said that, I've got loads, but I'll put no selling at the top.
I think for me, it's the overproducedness of what it is now. That is my gripe more than anything. It doesn't feel natural or authentic anymore, which is a shame to say. You can just tell people are waiting for spots all the time. It's just not any good. It's nowhere near as good as like Jeff said, 2000's his favourite year, 2001's mine. And if you look back at then, everything felt so natural and real and aggressive, and you felt like you was watching real sports back then. But now they put on these post conferences that still feel fake, even though they're trying to make it look real. It's just yeah,
the dives where you zoom in on a wrestler and then you just see like 50 people waiting to catch him. At least make an attempt to make it look as if you're fighting each other or something. No, just go.
Yeah. They're all looking and kind of just going like that.
Yeah.
The problem with it these days, with everything across music and film and like wrestling, like what with social media and short form video and stuff, everyone's trying to grab you quickly. So they're trying to create moments as opposed to long term investment, if you like, So I would watch wrestling now if I knew I was going to love it, and I would happily invest my time to watch it every week like I did, But for me personally, I watch it and it doesn't do that. And then, as the boys were saying, in a match sense, it's almost like they're trying to create moments only, as opposed to making it look like a good battle. And it's looking too Power Rangers, a bit too sequence based, where they're looking for the next thing to do to complete the sequence, as opposed to having a brawl. I think to lead back into the theme side, there's no real sort of aura. Everything's too prim and polished. It's like, you look at like Austin Theory or something who's meant to be like the new star, and it to me just looks like some dude off like, well, man, if I sit him down an alley, I wouldn't be scared of him. But like, if he told me to if he knocked on my door and was threatening, it wouldn't be threatened by him. And like at the start of Raw, I said this to Joey, it's like when I try and get into Raw, then it does some sort of like, it starts with some sort of trap music, and it'll be some sort of drone thing going to the building. Then it'll zoom into like an earlier in the day frame where it's like they're wheeling in their trolleys or something, looking all prim and proper. And then it'll just go to like the non energy that had before. I mean, imagine like 1999 or something where Jim Ross and Jerry King Lawler having to like really raise their voice to speak over the crowd.
Yeah.
And it would pan to like loads of signs and just the energy and the fireworks and that. If you've lived through that, it feels dull now. And that's the thing. And I think it can come back to that. But then again, the culture's changed. But I thought the Netflix era would bring in something. That was their chance. But it's just more sponsoring. It's not changed at all. It's worse, if anything, from what I can see.
You just compare it to the Raw of '97, where the lack of polish actually made it. Shawn Michaels storming to the back, and there's everyone blocking him in the gorilla position, and he's legitimately annoyed. And you don't have to put that much effort. If they put less effort in, less polish, it would look so much more real and legit. And I don't think they can put the genie back in the bottle now.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
They're a publicly traded company. People will just, if they tried doing that, they'd say, "Oh, look how sloppy this is." Blah blah blah. Social media would blow up, and
I find it funny that, well, from what I can see, which is probably the most exciting thing about it at the moment, say particularly WWE, is that Triple H is going from feature himself all the time to now people are actually turning on him. I find it quite interesting. So he's getting booed and stuff, so that might force him to change his on-screen persona on. But people are just kind of fed up of him just placing himself everywhere. And
there's a whole case study there about how WWE preconditioned us for years to boo authority figures that if they try and bring a face one in, we've been taught to boo them for so long. You boo
you know, I find it interesting that, you know, the guy that was essentially the face of D-Generation X has now become everything that he was rebelling against.
Yeah.
He's become the man, and you know, it's the irony of that is definitely not lost on me. I mean,
yeah, he's a bit too touchy feely. You can see some clips where he's like got his hands on the girls and stuff, like a jumpy huggy type thing, and it's a bit weird in my life.
Well, there's some rumours there, but let's not go into it here.
About
him and Stephanie's marriage,
nothing surprising.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that I really, you know, I mean, this sort of goes beyond pet peeve, but I don't like the fact that, you know, with WWE becoming this conglomerate, this publicly traded company, they are now to a great extent pricing the average fan out of being able to attend live shows by, you know, raising the ticket prices incessantly and, you know, making merchandise almost prohibitively expensive. That kind of thing. I mean, you know, they're making it so that, you know, the average person really can't afford to go to their shows. You know, it's really a shame. And, you know, don't get me started about them getting into bed with the Saudis. Definitely not a fan of that. For a lot of reasons. I mean.
They even coached Shawn Michaels out of retirement. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You always thought like wrestlers never retire apart from Shawn Michaels. No, even he did it. Even if the money was so good that even he decided to.
Yep. Everybody really does have a price, I guess.
Yeah.
There was rumours apparently Stone Cold was going to appear at this year's Rumble, but he never did. And the Saudis were trying to chuck obscene amounts of money at him, but he still turned it down. I'm hoping it's just, you know, no, I've had my last match rather than, no, I'm too busy.
But I mean, I really resent the fact that the first WrestleMania outside of North America is going to be in Saudi Arabia. You know, I would have loved to have seen it come over to you guys. You know, have the first one outside the U.S. be in the U.K. I mean, that would seem the right thing to do. But again, you know, when the Saudis are throwing money, it's just.
There were talks, weren't there? And then they suddenly broke down. And it comes down to money, doesn't it? I don't think we're willing to pay their price.
It does, and you know, I also feel terrible for the city of New Orleans. You know, they were supposed to get this year's WrestleMania, and then Vegas threw a bunch of money at them and said, "Let's bring it back here."
Yeah,
you know, it's just it's all a money game anymore.
It must be the first seed hold it 3 times anyway.
Yeah. So, in terms of each of your fandom, do you find yourself gravitating more to workers or talkers in terms of what you like as a wrestler? Do you like somebody that can really go in the ring or somebody that can talk their ass off on the mic?
If I had to pick,
for me, it's a balance. I know which one I want to prefer more, but I understand a good balance is key, absolute key. For me personally, it's more the athleticism because I used to be quite an athletic person as well, doing amateur rollerblading and stuff like that. So I can really appreciate the athleticism that's behind it all day long, especially even when you look at like Logan Paul now. As much as I hated him as a YouTuber, I think I hate to admit that I'm starting to like him as a wrestler,
Right.
just
Yep.
because he's the athleticism's there. He's good to watch. I think he understands his character as well, whether it's brushing on the side of realism rather than fiction. But yeah, I think the key is balance. But me personally, I prefer the athleticism than the talking.
I think for me, it's talking. As much as you want the total package. Talking. I think you just need to look at Austin. He got over. He broke his neck, and 90% of his wrestling ability was gone. And then during that injury, he got over as that real stone cold character, sticking it to the Authority. And he was a brawler rather than a wrestler. That's just. I agree with the masses there. That's what gets someone over with me. But then, to a certain extent, you can have people that are really, really captivating on the mic, but terrible wrestlers that I can't get behind. I know I'm wearing his shirt, but the Warriors are an example of that. He just couldn't go at all. But yeah, I think it's 75%. I'd go as far as say 75% talking to like 25% ability, and you're good to go.
Warrior's entrance was half of it. Just how good it was. The music, the running, the shaking the ropes. There wasn't a lot past that besides mental promos and a bit of action in the ring. But for me, that has more of an effect on me and more memorable. And then we're still talking about him like 35 years later. People today, 2060, I don't think will be. We may be talking him in that sort of regard, So
I think it's one of the best examples of the rest of the music making the wrestler.
Yeah.
Him without Unstable, he gets nowhere near as high as he did. I think of one or two where their theme makes them who they are. Obviously, I love him, but Joe Hendry without the theme is one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Without the theme and the other musical stuff that he does, Joe Hendry is probably just another mid-carder.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But he has cracked the code for going viral. I mean,
he saw a gap in the market, didn't he? And he took it, and he's managed to make a good living off it. So you can't knock him for it.
Not at all.
I'm surprised. But there's the thing where like he got over by his own creation. Like that's not common, is it? Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
They've let him roll with it, so that's surprising.
Yeah, that's true. So he's not really on the same level as Warrior in terms of getting lucky. Hendry, he still made his own success.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, in the time you've been doing WrestleMosh, what would you say, again, each of you, has been the coolest moment you've seen at a WrestleMosh event?
Somebody take a steel chair. The sound of the crack when that connects to the back was it was quite shockingly loud.
Yeah, I think that like what happened with us in Bradford, where we did a WrestleMosh Club night in on the Friday, and then some of the guys from the company said, "Can we come along and do a brawl?" sort of thing. So there were some workers there. As we turned up, they had all the gimmicks, they had all the weapons, a cane and chair and all the rest of it, and they were going to do a brawl on stage, like interrupt the night sort of thing. And it just so happened that their event locally was the night after, so we had to get involved, and then that was a rumble to which we could actually be in it, and we was. And me and Joey did rock paper scissors, and Joey went in the rumble. So this is from last night. So basically, we took bumps for them on the Friday, and then we got our revenge on the Friday, but on the Saturday. But Joey got a bit back, but he was eliminated fairly quickly, and it's not over. So when we're up there again, we'll carry that on.
Nice.
But we're getting over ourselves in a weird way.
Oh yeah,
all of us. So yeah, there you go. We're part of the industry now. So we'll get involved with with more companies. I mean, Win Wrestling, Wrestling Northampton, they all got involved by a Northampton show. So
yeah,
there's just more happening. I think when we did Norwich, there's going to be more happening, and
you were talking about them, the workers having their gimmicks and their accessories. I've had a few deathmatch wrestlers come on the show, and those guys are a different breed. I mean, if you think your normal wrestler puts their body through a lot, man, the deathmatch guys are just insane.
Yeah.
And but the thing that's interesting, of all the deathmatch people I've talked to, the accessory that they fear the most is Legos. And I mean, I've stepped on a Lego. That's bad enough. I can't imagine bumping onto Legos. That would just be horrendously awful. But I mean, they say, thumbtacks, light tubes, barbed wire, that's all fine, but they fear the Legos.
that's not surprising.
The accusation.
The rest have got a bit of a bounce in it or something, but if you land on Lego, that's sharp and it's hard. And it's
Do you know what it is? It's like if you get something that's sharp and it pierces your skin, it tends to hurt less than something that's blunt and hits your skin.
Yep.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. So, for each of you, if you were to get in the ring and wrestle, who would be a dream opponent? And it can be present day or past. Who would be the one person you would love to share a ring with if you wrestled?
I'm a Mark, and I've started following wrestling in 2000. Austin was out injured. The big face was The Rock. So The Rock 2000. Thing is, he wouldn't be able to carry me to a good match because he wasn't really known for being a worker. But no, I'd love to just stand across the ring from him. Just even if it's just a case of him rock bottoming me and me taking an elbow.
I think it would be, honestly, I surprised myself with this answer. Just I've never been asked that question before, so I've just interested myself. I think my answer would be Kurt Angle, because again, he's athletic, he's very fast. I mean, even when he first came into it in 2000, he was very quick at learning. He was very on the ball, very aggressive, and very athletic. So that is kind of what I'd like to fall into. I think a match with him, because I'd like to think I can give that as much as I can take it as well. So yeah, Kurt Angle.
I'm shocked by that answer, considering who you cosplay as.
Well, exactly. That was my first answer, but then I had to think a little bit deeper and quicker about it. And I thought, actually, no, it's Kurt Angle.
Me, I'd probably say Hogan. Not about being the best match that could be or whatever, but I mean, from what Hogan did, he did everything well, So it's all about reactions and stuff like that, and he was the hero. So I mean, yeah,
it would be surreal seeing him.
It worked for him.
You and do the whole.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So, knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Get into wrestling at the age of 16 instead of waiting until 36. So I actually trained in a wrestling ring about 4 years ago, but I was so heavily into music, I could tell that if I started wrestling properly, it would take up a lot more of my time. So I basically had to pick music or wrestling, and because I was so heavily into music anyway for 20 years, it was a no-brainer. So I'd have probably said to maybe take up wrestling, because either way I'd still be performing to live crowds in music or wrestling. So either would have been fine. I could die happily in either path.
What you did in Bradford, Joey, would you do more of that?
Absolutely.
No
question.
Oh, there you go. So we all might be in a 6-man tag at some point.
There you go.
I think I'd just say, just go for it if the opportunity presents itself. go for it. Don't worry about it. I became a wrestling DJ responding to an Instagram advert 2 years ago, just looking for a DJ at a wrestling night at short notice. And I thought, I like DJing, I like wrestling. Never done it before, but why not? And I'm so glad that I did. I've had many fun memories since then. And before then, I let other opportunities pass me by just because I thought, oh no, maybe not. No, but I thought, no, screw it, let's do it. And yeah, I'm so grateful that I did.
Yeah, take up opportunities, I'd say, for sure. I mean, I think I don't know what you think of this, Matt, but like, I think in your 20s, you're just like experiencing what life has to throw at you. Then in the 30s, you have more knowledge and can pivot the right way, and also have more confidence just to give things a go more, I think, if that's the thing.
Right.
So WrestleMosh kind of was just like, well, we're going to give it a go. It almost like it can't fail. So, and that can just roll on to other things in life, you know. So, yeah, I mean, me and these boys, like, we sort of met by chance, you know, and just like little messages here and there, and it's the right thing and the right people. So, yeah, if you want to apply yourself, you'll find your way, I think, you know. And in your teens, it's a stressful time and stuff. I mean, school and stuff, you think you're not going to make it if you don't do well at school and that, and it really is just
peer pressure.
Like, yeah, life is just self-education. It doesn't matter, you know. Like, you can learn something really well in the time you'd watch a series start to finish. I mean, that's probably 40 hours. Look, you could learn in that, you know. I feel more valuable of time. Yeah, I'm late 30s now, 40 in a few months, so I'm more valuable of time in that way. If anything's possible, you know.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. When I was of the age that I could have considered going into the business, you know, it was at a time where professional wrestling was still very much the land of the giants. And I'm a comparatively smaller guy. I'm right around 5'5". But, you know, seeing, you know, how the business has evolved over the years, and like the Rey Mysterios, you know, shattering the glass ceiling for the smaller, really athletic guys to actually be able to get in there and really make a go of it in the business has done my heart good, you know. So I feel like to some extent I'm living vicariously, you know, through the Rey Mysterios, the Adam Coles, the Bryan Danielsons, you know, the smaller guys that are super athletic and can really go in the ring. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, to a great extent, as a fan, I was born in a great time because, you know, like I said before we went on the air, I've gotten to see a lot of things happen in wrestling, you know, as they happened, as opposed to retrospectively. So it's been a cool run. But in some ways, you know, if I had come of age at a time where you know, the smaller guys actually could do it, it would have been interesting to at least give it a whirl.
Yeah.
So we're getting toward the end of things now. So do you guys have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to before we wrap all of this up?
Yes, we're doing. Go on, Joe.
No, I was going to say I could get them up, but I'd have to look at the calendar on my phone, unfortunately. Well, I'm using my phone to stream, so.
No, it's bad. Yeah, there's a lot going on. We're in bands and stuff, so it's like we're out a lot, if you like. But it tends to be weekend stuff, Friday and Saturdays over in England. But we did a WrestleMosh in Northampton in England, you know, about a month ago, and then we're back on the 21st in Banbury. But that's, some venues have us do like new metal music as much as the wrestling. So sort of like having like a 50-50. But we do like full WrestleMosh's Norwich at the waterfront there, big university crowd and stuff on the 27th of March. Then we go to Swindon on the 28th. And there's further dates being planned. We had a really good one in Milton Keynes last year, and back there on June the 27th. So yeah, there's some inquiries on the go now. So it could be a full on tour. But when I say tour, it's kind of spread throughout the year, if you like. So I think we're happy as long as we get like 1 a month or 2 a month or whatever, and just be constant. We find there's a lot of on the emails and stuff. There's a lot of interest. So more places a yes as opposed to a no to come along, sort of thing. And a lot of venues want us back, sort of thing. So exciting times. We're kind of at the beginning of all this, but it's gonna get bigger.
Yeah, I think that's
for
what I was
sure.
going to say.
I mean,
we're at the start, still establishing the groundworks, if you will. But each show seems to be as big as the last, if not better. So the word is getting out there. We do put some stuff out on socials. We do have a little bit of content out there, especially with these other promotions getting involved. Wrestlers, wrestling companies, and then even the tribute band as well. They came down to one of our shows. So very slowly but surely, the groundwork's being laid. Give it another year or so, I think we'll be a lot bigger. Probably having this conversation again in a year's time, saying we played Wembley.
Yeah, Super Slam. They've got their. I know you was with him, Matt, about a month ago.
Yeah.
And, they're doing their first show in London, right? In 2 weeks. So I might go along, and boys, Jeff, you might be interested in going along in 2 weeks, man. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Definitely really enjoyed having Louis on. He's quite an interesting guy, and definitely had an interesting story to tell as to how all of that came about. But as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this Wednesday, the 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 202, and our guest is a Florida-based wrestler. He's actually based out of the House of Champions in Orlando, a guy named Baracco. And then we're actually booked up well into the month of March, so definitely keep an eye on my socials. And there's a lot of exciting stuff coming, and I try to announce guests roughly a week out, but definitely keep an eye on things because we've got some exciting stuff coming. So before we wrap all of this up, do you guys have any final words for the audience?
Just keep enjoying wrestling, keep enjoying music, keep enjoying anything athletic. Just go out there and watch it. It's nothing better than the live stuff.
Absolutely.
Jim Johnston for the Hall of Fame. I'm sure you all agree. Keep listening to it.
Yes.
It's brilliant. Just go down that rabbit hole. He has some really, really good obscure ones.
Well, he gave us our childhood music.
Yeah.
I love the obscure stuff, like the demos and the version 1 and stuff like that.
The original Jericho. Yeah. Keep doing that. Go down that rabbit hole. See where it takes you.
I've found listening to music that if you go down some rabbit holes, you actually find some demos that end up being better than the final version. I mean, in a lot of instances, and it really makes you wonder, what was that producer thinking? But
you get a lot of lyrics before the producers got involved and censored it a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
You might find it's probably what the artist wants it to be like, and then someone comes along and says it should be like that for other reasons, and take it down a different direction. Yeah,
like Rolling by Limp Bizkit, the original version of that.
Oh really? I've never heard that.
It's on the chocolate Starfish album. The one.
Oh, so
there's 2 versions of Rolling. The one that we know.
And, assault raid vehicle, an urban assault vehicle, isn't that?
That's it. And the one that we're not as familiar with was the original version. And then the last minute, Fred Durst said, "Oh, let's do a bit more metal," and that was the breakout.
Interesting.
They dropped DMX, and that's what made them their money.
Yep. Well, on that note, until Wednesday night at 7 o'clock with Baracco, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing.